We're constantly sending messages, buying things, living our lives online, and we just trust that it's all private. But have you ever really stopped to think about what's keeping those secrets safe? Well, in this explainer, we're going to pull back the curtain on the absolutely ingenious system that makes all of our digital privacy possible. It's called public key cryptography. To really get it, let's start with a classic problem. Picture this. You've got a lockbox with a secret inside, and you need to mail it to your friend. The catch? The mail route is totally public. Anyone, a spy, a nosy neighbor, can grab anything you sent. You've got a padlock and a key. So how do you get that key to your friend so they can open the box without that spy getting a copy first? That right there, that's the fundamental puzzle of all secret communication. For a long time, the answer to that puzzle was, well, pretty simple. But it had this one massive, glaring vulnerability. So let's dive into the old way of doing things, the one-key system, and see exactly why it's such a problem in the age of the internet. This traditional method is called symmetric cryptography. It works exactly how you'd expect. You use one key to lock the box, and your friend uses an identical copy of that same key to unlock it. It's easy, it makes sense, and it works perfectly, as long as you and your friend are the only two people on Earth who have that key. And there it is, the fatal flaw. The key distribution problem. How do you get the key to your friend securely? You have to send it through that same public mail service. So an eavesdropper just has to sit back, wait for you to send the key, grab it, make a copy, and that's it. Game over. Now they can open every single secret you ever send. The whole system just collapses. So obviously, for a massive global network like the internet, just sending secret keys back and forth was a complete non-starter. We needed a totally different way to think about this, a truly brilliant solution that somehow didn't require sharing a secret key at all. And that solution is called asymmetric cryptography, and honestly, it is a total game changer. Instead of one key that you have to share, everybody gets their own pair of keys that are mathematically linked. Think of it like this. You have a public key, which is like an open padlock. You can give copies of this padlock to anyone, you can leave them lying around, it doesn't matter. But you also have one unique private key, and you guard that with your life because it's the only key in the entire world that can open your padlock. So let's put them side by side. On the one hand, you have the old symmetric way. It's fast, but that key sharing problem makes it basically useless for most things on the internet. On the other hand, you have asymmetric. Yeah, it's a little slower mathematically, but it just completely solves the problem. You can literally shout your public key from the rooftops or post it on a billboard. Who cares? It's just a padlock. Without your secret private key, no one's getting in. So here's how it actually plays out. Let's say I want to send you a secret message. I find your public key, your open padlock. I use it to lock my message up tight in a digital box. Now here's the magic. Once that box is locked with your public key, it can only be opened by your private key. I can send it out into the open, our spy can snatch it right out of the air, but it doesn't matter. To them, it's just a bunch of scrambled nonsense. They are completely locked out. Only you, with your one-of-a-kind private key, can open it up and read the message. Now, I know what you might be thinking. This sounds kind of impossible. How can one key do the locking, but a totally different key is needed for the unlocking? Well, the answer isn't really magic. It's just some very clever math. The entire system is built on a special kind of mathematical trick, something that's incredibly easy to do in one direction, but nearly impossible to do in reverse. And this core principle has a pretty cool name. It's called a one-way function with a trapdoor. Sounds a little mysterious, right? Let's unpack what that actually means. Okay, first, the one-way function part. Imagine you take two very specific secret colors of paint and mix them together. That's easy, right? Anyone can stir paint. But what if I just gave you the final mixed color and asked you to tell me the exact two original colors I started with? Yeah, good luck. It's practically impossible. That's a one-way function. The math version of this is multiplying two gigantic prime numbers. A computer can do that in a flash, but trying to go backwards, starting with that massive result and figuring out the original two primes you started with, that is an incredibly hard problem to solve. So, if figuring out the original numbers is almost impossible, what's the trapdoor? Well, the trapdoor is the secret shortcut. It's the piece of information that makes the impossible possible again. And in our system, your private key is the trapdoor. It holds the secret. It knows what those original prime numbers were. So for you, reversing the math is super easy. But for everybody else, they're stuck trying to solve a problem that would take even the most powerful supercomputers we have today literally centuries to crack. But hang on, Because this incredible technology has another amazing trick up its sleeve. It's not just for hiding secrets. It can also be used to prove, without a shadow of a doubt, exactly who you are. So far, we've talked about using a public key to lock and a private key to unlock. That's all about secrecy. But what if we flipped it? What if you locked a message with your private key? Now, anyone can open it, right? Because everyone has your public key. So it's not very secret. But doing this accomplishes something else that is just as powerful. When you do that, you create what's called a digital signature. Just think about what this means. If your public key can successfully open a message, then that message could only have been locked by one thing in the entire universe, your private key. And since you're the only one who has it, that's undeniable proof that the message came from you and that it hasn't been changed one bit since you sent it. It's like a perfect, unforgeable digital seal. So you can see how this whole system defends against a bunch of different digital threats. The basic encryption part stops the eavesdroppers, the snoops. But the digital signature part, that stops people from altering your message, from forging a message and pretending it's from you, or even you trying to deny you ever sent it. It provides two absolutely crucial things: authenticity, we know who sent it, and non-repudiation, proof that they can't deny it later. Now, I know this might all sound like really abstract computer science, but the truth is, you are using this system constantly, every single day, probably without even noticing. And I'm not exaggerating. This is not some niche tool for spies. It is the absolute bedrock of trust for the entire internet. These public and private keys are being used billions and billions of times a day, happening all around you right now. You know that little padlock icon in your browser? Or the S in HTTPS on a secure website? Yep, that's public key cryptography working. Every single time you log into your bank, or buy something online with your credit card, or send an end-to-end encrypted message on an app like Signal or WhatsApp, this is the technology that's protecting you. It even verifies that the software updates for your phone are coming from the real company, not from some hacker. When you get right down to it, public key cryptography is the invisible architecture of trust for our entire digital world. It's what allows all of us to send messages, do business, and share information across this giant, public, and sometimes scary network with confidence, knowing our information is safe and the people we're talking to are actually who they say they are. And this all leads us to one final and maybe slightly chilling thought. Our entire digital society, all of our online banking, our private messages, our commerce, it's all built on the fundamental belief that this math is just too hard for anyone to break. But with new things on the horizon, like quantum computers that could potentially solve these problems in a snap, we have to ask ourselves, what happens on the day our digital locks finally shatter?